All right, so we got the number one 175 in the world, Colby Covington. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Adam. How you doing, my brother?
Good. Now, you were teaching cops how to fight and how to shoot. Like, what's going on here?
I definitely wasn't teaching them to shoot. They were teaching me how to shoot because those guys are stone cold killers. But and I wouldn't say I was teaching them to fight, but I was giving them some knowledge, getting on the mats with them. We had a little seminar. They gave me this sweet shirt right here, the gang unit for the Miami.
Wow.
So, big shout out to my brothers at Miami Beach Police. So, they got my back, and we need to give more love to the first responders out there in the world because, there's a lot of turmoil and people are giving them a bad name. But let's not forget, if we don't got cops, man, it's going to be the wild, wild west and no one's going to be safe.
I totally agree, man. I think we should double their salaries and triple it. That way more people want to become cops. We get a better pool to pick from. And I think those guys, obviously there's some bad cops, but they're just getting totally killed right now. And I think it's unjustified because there's a lot of really great cops, So I would say most of them are great. So
yeah. Sure, you can't say one bad apple makes the batch bad. It's just one bad apple. So we need to give more support for those guys that are, protecting our freedoms and protecting and keeping us safe. More importantly.
1,000%. Now, how did that happen? Like, did they reach out to you and they said, Colby, we know how good you are at grappling and how good you are at, combat. Can you help us?
Yeah, I mean, they reached out originally and they were like, hey, man, we want to handle all the nerds and the virgins in the world. So what do you do, Chaos? And, they wanted the Cardio King's expertise. And, I came in and gave them a little seminar on the mats and more importantly, just, showed support for them and boosted their morale because, their spirits are low right now. They can't even go out and put their hands on someone without getting a charge or getting kicked off the force. So, I wanted to show my support for them and how appreciative I am for what they do and keeping us safe. And, it's been a great experience. I'm welcome to the Miami Beach Police Department anytime now. And those guys, they show me to shoot anytime. And they just give me their time anytime I want it now. I came a couple days ago on the drop of a dime and they're like, yeah, come Colby. And got to shoot M5s and assault rifles and all these crazy, pistols with crazy silencers and nice scopes. And, it's just been a really cool experience just to be able to hang with them.
Wow. Now, you left American Top Team and you kind of formed your own gym. Is that a couple things? Who are you bringing in? Is that costing you a lot more money because now you got to pay people to train with?
No, it's probably going to save me a good amount of money, to be honest. At American Top Team, you have your gym fees that you have to pay, and I always paid my individualized coaches. So, now it's just individualized coaches. I'm not paying a gym fee because I'm my own gym. I'm Colby Covington Incorporated now. So, I brought some of the best coaches around into my gym, and I have some great training partners, and I'm getting better every single day. And it's not ready to be unveiled yet what my training partners and all my coaches are, but at the right time before my next fight, that'll get unveiled, and everybody will know that the CCI Colby Covington Incorporated is for real, and we're here to stay, man. We're just getting started. Adam, I promise you, the best is yet to come.
Now, are you worried that guys are not going to go 100% with you because they're not going to want to hurt you because you're employing them?
No, I'm not worried at all. I think that we train smart at Colby Covington Incorporated, but I always believe in giving your all. So, I want them to go hard and being the best fighter in the world, you should be able to train with any style and be able to maneuver through, all the crazy training and all the reckless people that train like that and be able to, just pretty much be able to stop it and not get hurt. So I'm not really too worried about that.
No, listen, I was telling Joe, I'm like, listen, personally, I think American Top Team got you to the point where you got the title shot. You were 1 minute away from being the best ever, I mean, the best in the world. why wouldn't you stay there? At the same time, you're the one who got yourself there. So obviously, I've never been where you were in fighting. I mean, or in anything. So obviously, you know what you're doing. But what would you say to the people that are like, "Hey, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it"?
Well, first off, I got to stop you because American Top Team did not get me to a world championship level. I was a national champ level wrestler in college and Division I All-American and two-time Pac-10 champion. The people that got me to that world title were the kids in the youth club, just like you. You're a youth club coach.
Yeah.
The things that you're teaching your kids now are going to be so valuable and lessons that they're gonna take later in life, and that's what's going to help them succeed. So it wasn't American Top Team. American Top Team didn't put in the hard work for me every day. They didn't tell me that I had to show up every single day when I had to train. They weren't helping me when I had to ride my bicycle to the gym because I was so broke and I couldn't even afford a car or insurance payments. They weren't the ones, going through the struggle. I was the one. It was my mentality. It was my mind. I could have been at any gym. I could have been in my garage gym and just brought in coaches for me and got to that level. I put in the hard work. No one can take credit for my success except for me.
No, but what about the whole iron sharpens iron? That the guys there are going to be top level and you're top level, and then you're going to get better because of that.
Yeah, I think that's true, but it was only like that for a couple years. As soon as I started making noise, a lot of people, they didn't want to train with me anymore. They cut off the training and they didn't want to be in between it. And to be honest, it just became more of a hassle than anything because there was so much drama every time I was going in there. Everybody was jealous. They were bitter that, they didn't like the way I went about my business and they didn't like the success I was having. So, to be honest, I couldn't get any training the last couple of years really. And now I'm in a way better situation, no drama. And I just feel the energy has completely changed for me, Adam. Now at CCI, everything's focused around me and everything's tailored to my schedule, my game plan. And all we care about is winning. And that's what we're going to do.
Well, Charles Rosa said you look better than ever. He said he trained with you recently, and that because I asked him, how's Colby look? He said, dude, Colby looks better than he's ever looked. So, Charles is an ATT guy, so he's not going to say that unless he means it. So obviously you're doing something right. Now you said that you think Masvidal is going to that Usman's going to ragdoll Masvidal. Correct?
I don't think, Adam. I know, buddy. That's, I trained with Street Judas Masvidal for 8 years. I lived with them for a year and a half. The guy's got no heart. He's got no discipline. He doesn't know how to stay focused in between training camps. He only trains when it's convenient for him and when it's a training camp. He's not the type of guy that's going to go like me, who's going to go help the amateurs, who's going to help the pros, who's going to help anybody that's getting ready for fights because I'm the ultimate team player. He's a very selfish individual and, he's just not a disciplined guy, and you're going to find out this weekend that all he was doing was showing up for a paycheck because he's got to pay alimony, Adam. He's got some big checks to pay to his ex-wife, who he cheated on. And he's got kids, child support to pay. So he's just showing up. And on the flip side, Marty's just looking for that easy lick because, I was offering to fight him, but of course he doesn't want to fight the harder fight, the guy who gave him hell for 25 minutes. He's looking for that easy lick with the guy who's got lightning in a bottle, Judas Masvidal.
But what about Masvidal saying that he brought in his boxing coach, he lives with his boxing coach, he trains all day long with his boxing coach? Is there any truth to that?
You can't believe anything Masvidal says anymore, Adam. Let me tell you why. Just last week, he was saying Darren Till was the hardest guy to ever hit him. How is Darren Till the hardest guy to ever hit you, George, when you were still conscious at the end of that fight? You fought Paul Rodriguez and you got knocked out unconscious. You fought Rodrigo Dam, you got knocked out unconscious. How did those guys not hit you harder when they left you unconscious and Darren Till didn't? Explain that to me.
So you think he's just kind of bullshitting that he doesn't – he's got to lose 23 pounds in a week. You think that's going to affect him?
That's fake news as well, Adam. He's just trying to juicing up, a storyline, make another narrative, make another angle for the fight, make another excuse for the fight. This is another built-in excuse, Adam. Let me tell you that right now. Just just along the lines of, oh, I took this fight on a week notice. When he loses, he's going to use that. And then he's also going to use this narrative, oh, I had to cut so much weight in a week, this and that. So he's just giving himself excuses so the fall is less hard when he loses.
Now, Mike Brown catching coronavirus and not being able to be with him, how is that going to affect him?
It's not going to affect him at all. You know, as fighters, you know, professionals, you know, it's us in the cage. It's not the coach. You know, the coach doesn't do anything. You know, they just sit there and they get the best seat in the house. We're trained fighters, man. We have our game plans. We know how to fight now. This has nothing to do with coaches anymore. It's a one-on-one sport. It's mano a mano. It's combat. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, as professional fighters, you know, we know how to fight. And that's what we're going to go in there and do is fight.
Now, Tyron Woodley says he had the contract to fight you and he signed it. Did you get a contract? Is there any truth to that?
I haven't got no contract. And, you know, I don't lie to the media. I don't make up fake news. I don't make up bullshit. If they sent me a contract with Tyron Woodley's name, I'd sign it faster than the ink could dry. That's the easiest fight I could ever look for.
But, I mean, but does that help you? Because I feel like you're ranked higher than Woodley right now. So is that a smart fight for you?
You know, it doesn't help me because, you know, he hasn't won a round in, 2 or 3 years. You know, he's lost his last 2 fights. He looks completely cashed out. Of course he wants to fight me. You know, it's the biggest, most relevant fight that he can get. It's the fight that has a ton of hype on it, you know, and it's probably a fight that gets him up more than any fight ever. You know, as much shit as I've talked to him, he's probably more excited to fight me than he's ever been to fight anybody. You know, the angle we have, you know, with he's a liberal cuck and I'm a Republican. So the red versus blue angle, you know, that has a big storyline and former training partners at American Top Team back in the day. And just all the different storylines that fight sells. It's a great fight, and I'm sure he's excited for the fight. But, you know, the fight has not been presented to me, and it doesn't really do anything for me. More than the only thing it does for me is if the people want to see a dead body and a guy retired, yeah, okay, I'll do that for the people. You know, I am people's champ.
But now, how does this play out? Because I'm trying to do the math, right? Let's say Masvidal gets ragdolled by Usman, like you said, right? They're not going to give him a rematch. Because even if people aren't going to say, well, he blah, blah, blah. So then it's going to be Usman versus Gilbert Burns. And then do you wait for the winner? Or do you fight Gilbert Burns in the meantime? And then that winner fights Usman? How do you see this?
I've never heard of a Dilbert. You know, what is a Dilbert, Adam?
I think it's Gilbert. Come on, Gilbert Burns looked really – he's in his last 6 fights. He beat Tyron Woodley. He knocked out Damian Maia. You got to give the guy his props.
Never heard of a Dilbert. You know, you just talked about 2 guys that are 40 years old and way past their prime. How are those fucking impressive wins? Tell me that, Adam. How are guys that are 40 years old? That's why his name's Dilbert and nobody knows who the fuck he is. And I'm not fighting fucking journeymen. I've already fought enough journeymen. I'm fighting the biggest names in the sport. You know, I got nothing to do with any guy that nobody's ever heard of. Now,
according to Weendog, we were talking about it. He says you're one of the top 3 draws in the UFC. And I was thinking about it. Like, I think you are. I mean, McGregor is retired, right? So you got to go McGregor's top. I think you're second. Are you second behind McGregor?
Dude, to be honest, I think I'm first. If you look at the numbers never lie. We know that. If you go look on Dana White's page, his when he puts all the videos of the fighters going in for their fights. My last fight, I had 7 million viewers looking at Dana White's Twitter page for when I walked in the building. Conor only had like 500,000. Usman, 100,000. Nobody gives a fuck about him. George's last fight, 200,000. Nate Diaz, 500,000. No one's crossing the million plank, and I'm at 6-something million. And that's just facts. You can go look at Dana White's Twitter for my December. I'm a draw. People want to see me fight. Whether you love me or hate me, maybe I don't have, you know, millions of followers because I didn't buy followers like all these fake fucks like George, like Usman. I didn't have to buy a following. You know, I got a real following. And, you know, I got a lot of haters and I got a lot of lovers. But at the end of the day, they all want to see me either win or lose, and they're all tuning in. They're not in the middle. So they're not going to turn the channel to Real Housewives of OC like when Dilbert would be fighting.
I mean, you make a lot of good points. And I was telling Joe, I mean, there's a huge conservative fan base out there. I mean, look at Tucker Carlson right now has the #1 watch show on cable network history. Cable news. #1 in cable news history. So there's a lot of people out there, conservatives. All right, let's change the topic a little bit. Conservative women. versus liberal women, right? Because a lot of the girls you date, do you ever go out with a liberal girl and she asks you about your politics, then it's over?
I mean, if I go out with a liberal girl and she asks me about politics, we're not going to talk ever again. I have nothing to say to you on So, you know, and if I go out with a conservative woman, you know, then we can talk, you know, but liberal soy women are they're just so close-minded, and, you know, they don't believe in facts. You know, my friend Candace Owens, you know, she doesn't care about your feelings. She cares about facts. And if facts hurt your feelings, that's your problem. That's not my problem.
Now, so conservative girls. Now, how many hit you up in your DM? Because there's a lot of conservative girls. I see they're blonde. They got the big boobs. They're at the beach. I can just see them. They're wearing the red, white, and blue, you know, bikinis. Are they constantly DMing you?
There's a couple. I can't lie, Adam. You know, the good thing is that, you know, my great friend Candace Owens, she's trying to hook me up with some conservative women that work on, you know, for the greatest president in the world, Donald Trump. So, you know, you just might see me dabble into the political world and become a senator someday and have some power couple with, you know, another girl that's deep into the political world.
Hell yeah, dude.
About is wrestling, right? Becoming a pro wrestler. And I think you'd be a great pro wrestler. But the thing is, those guys work 365 days out of the year. I mean, I wouldn't say it's harder than MMA, but it might be harder on the body than MMA, actually, because of all the falls and this and that and every night. And that's something you really want to do?
I'll take it harder on the body than on the brain. You know, the UFC is so bad on your brain, and WWE is, I'm so passionate about, Adam. And I would love to do it. I'll do it for 24/7, 365 days a year, because I'm just so passionate about it. I love the sport. You know, it's such a real sport, and it's so exciting to me because it's something new and it's something fresh, and it's something that I grew up watching and loving and admiring, and you know, and now my friend Kurt Angle, you know, is trying to help me get over into that world, and you know, I just think the crossover it just fits perfectly for my style.
Has Vince contacted you, Vince McMahon?
Nah, Vince hasn't contacted me yet, but I know he knows who I am. You know, my good friend Bobby Lashley is over in WWE right now, and he's presented some ideas to Vince McMahon, like, hey man, let's do this storyline, let's do this angle, you know, MMA versus wrestlers, or you know, me and my American fighter Colby Covington versus, you know, wrestlers.
Right.
So we're just trying to find the right strategy and the right way to go about it, but there's only a matter of time, Adam. I will be the WWE champion before it's all said and done.
Dude, I believe you, man. I mean, I completely believe you. Now, Dana White, I noticed that you tagged Dana. You're like, Dana, the American hero is ready. I'm going to save this card. So are you and Dana, you guys are back on good terms? Because at one point you were going to smack him with the belt and you know, take off his pants and embarrass him and all this other shit. So you guys are cool again?
Yeah, Uncle Dana, man. I don't got no problems with Uncle Dana, man. That's my business partner. That's my man, man. That's, you know, so I got no ill will towards him. You know, I want to do good business with him, and he knows that, you know. And before, when I was saying those things, everybody knows, you know, it's just, you know, you know, it wasn't, you know, I just felt disrespected, and I feel like, you know, I didn't get treated right, and I was treated unfairly, and, you know, but I'm over that. You know, that's the past. We've moved over that. This is the future and the moment now. And all I want to do is fight, man. I want to fight and show that I'm the best fighter in the entire world. And Dana is my way to get there. So, you know, I don't want any bad blood with him or any bad problems.
Now, when you left ATT, I know that it was a big part of you, and you know, you have a lot of friends and family over there. Did you go in there and say goodbye to Matt Brown? Did you say goodbye to Dustin Poirier? Did you give him hugs? Was it like a formal goodbye, like, I'll see you guys, I love you guys? Or was it like, Colby's out, fuck that guy?
I gave him all the deuces, and I blew him a kiss and said, I'll see you motherfuckers soon. Especially doofus Dustin Poirier. All that shit he talked to the media. Oh, when I see Colby, it's on site, motherfucker. It's on site. It's on site, bitch? Let's do it then. Let's do it in front of the whole entire world. Nah, you don't want to do that, because I'll embarrass you in front of the whole world. You won't even be recognizable to your wife and kid ever again if you ever fought me, doofus, Dustin.
Well, you're also bigger than him. You're 170. He's 55. I mean,
he's bigger than me, Adam. We used to step on the scale all the time. He weighed 185, 186, 187. I weigh 184, 185. He's a bigger guy than me. I just don't cut weight. To be honest, I should be a lightweight. I should be 55. Khabib's bigger than me. But I don't agree with cutting 30 pounds and cutting these massive weight cuts because I'm a real fighter. I don't need to cut weight to prove I'm the best in the world. I know I'm the best in the world. I don't need an extra advantage. And that's what these guys are looking for, Adam. They're looking for an extra edge. They're looking for an extra advantage. Oh, I'm the bigger guy in the fight. It's gonna make me better. It's gonna help me more. No, I don't give a shit about any of that. Let's just get in the octagon. We'll weigh what we weigh, and let's see who's the best. And that's how real fighters think.
I mean, you must have been impressed, though, with Poirier's win over Dan Hooker. He looked great, right? I mean, come on.
Bro, Adam, I know you know wrestling. He made Dan Hooker look like Dan Gable.
I mean,
come on, bro.
Dan Hooker's a good fighter. Dan Hooker knocked out Gilbert Burns. I mean, he's a great
bro. Hookers aren't usually lasting longer than 2 or 3 minutes, and you know this better than anybody because you're in Vegas a lot. So you know that hookers don't last. Hookers aren't meant to go 25 minutes. So the fact that Hooker made it that long and he won the first 2 rounds, I mean, the Hooker should have won the fight, you know? I mean, Doofus Dustin, he's nothing, bro. He's a jobber. He's a journeyman. He's a fucking mediocre fighter, nothing more.
So when you guys spar together, you usually won? Is what you're trying to say?
Dude, I wouldn't even say one is the way to explain it, bro. I took his soul, knocked him out, tapped him out, fucking back in high school, fucking he dropped out. I mean, he wants nothing to do against me.
Or what about when you used to spar Masvidal? That must have been close. Those were close, right? Those weren't
That's hilarious, man. You're talking about a guy who's got 14 losses on his resume. 14 losses, Adam. He's a 50-50 journeyman level fighter. There's a reason they call him Street Judas Masvidal. Not only did he turn his back on his best friend, me, he turned his back on the entire fighting organization. All the guys he said he was going to stand up for, and he was going to be a martyr for the union and all the fighters and fighter pay and this and that. And then at the first chance he gets, he jumps on this opportunity on a week's notice and completely turns his back on everybody. That's why he's the Judas. So,
yeah, but he said they gave him pay-per-view. They gave him pay-per-view points. They gave him what he wanted. They gave him more money. I mean, isn't that what he wanted?
Yeah, that's what he wanted. He didn't get exactly what he wanted, but he got a decent chunk. He'll probably make $1 million. You know, good for him. That $1 million is going to go down the drain in a couple months, and he's going to be screaming for daddy. He's going to want daddy to retire him. You know, and I'm still mad I didn't get no Father's Day wish from him. I am his father. George Masvidal is my son.
But what he said when you guys sparred, you won 80% of the time, 70%, 50%. I mean,
100%.
100.
Are you fucking high or drunk right now, Adam?
No, I mean, he's a great fighter. Come
on. A guy who got smoked by Damian Maia, smoked by Stephen Thompson, smoked by Lorenz Larkin, smoked by Ala Quinta, Paul Rodriguez, Rodrigo Dam, Gilbert Melendez.
Knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds.
Dad bod Ben Askren, the guy who never even won a fight in the UFC. The guy's a fucking complete jobber, you know?
Beat Nate Diaz.
You mean Ben Askren, right? And the soy boy Nate Diaz, the guy who's also a 50-50 journeyman fighter who should have been retired 5-10 years ago, who has no brain cells left in his fucking head. Oh, yeah, that's a great win.
Darren Till, knocked out Darren Till.
Oh, Daryl the Doughboy Till. Oh, yeah, great win. All hype. He was built up in the UK. The only reason people know who he is because he's got a big following. He hasn't done anything impressive. Daryl the Doughboy, you know, is a jobber too.
Beat Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, beating Cowboy Cerrone right now is like going to your grandma's house and beating her up. It's not impressive.
My grandma's pretty tough. But I hear you. So you're not impressed with Masvidal. Now Ben Askren tweeted out that Marty sucks. But like, why does Askren think that Usman sucks?
Yeah, that's just Ben Askren being a hypocritical little bitch like he is. You know, he has no room to talk, bro. You didn't even win a UFC fight, man. You came to the UFC and you went 0-3. You got knocked out by Robbie Lawler. You got knocked out. Yeah, it was. Everybody knows that was one of the worst stoppages of all time. Next to my stoppage with Mark Not So Goddard, who fucking robbed all the fans of a fair fight. But that's another story in itself. Ben Askren is complete trash. He got tapped out by Damian Maia. The guy's 43 years old, man. So he has no room to talk, bro.
So when you fight Usman again, because I think that's probably going to be the New Year's Eve fight, I think that they're going to try to – they know that's going to be a huge fight right after the election. Oh, my God.
When Trump wins.
That's right, baby.
And when
American
Trump
great.
Which he probably will win.
Fuck the snowflakes.
That's right, dude.
He probably will win. And it's you versus Usman. And New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, probably the biggest fight in the next 10 years. What are you going to do differently? Anything?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do differently, Adam, is I'm not going to trust the UFC PI to do my meals again, because then I know I'm not going to get poisoned 2 days before the biggest fight of my life and be puking my guts up 20 times. So that's the first adjustment that I'm going to make. The second one is I'm going to wrestle more, because I know Usman's scared to wrestle with me. He knows if he gets in scrambles and we have to wrestle and we have to dig deep, he's going to be too tired. He's going to fatigue, and his strikes aren't going to be as powerful. And he's going to quit. He's a quitter at the end of the day. You just have to take him those deep waters. And last fight, I didn't take him to deep waters because I was sick, man. I got food poisoning 2 days before the fucking fight. And third, the third adjustment is we're not going to have Mark Not-So-Goddard saving his fucking life. That second round, when I kicked him in the liver, he would have been finished. I rocked him a minute before that, and then I kicked him in the liver, and his liver was shutting down. He was quitting. I would have put so many strikes against the cage, he would have just gave up. It would have been a TKO there. But no, Mark Goddard saved his life, threw him a life raft, and he did it again with the fake eye poke when he was faking it on the other eye. And so I'm going to have a competent ref that calls the fight fairly, and it's down the middle. And, besides that, I've made a lot of adjustments in my striking game, keeping my hands up, a lot more fakes, just a lot more depth to my striking game that people are going to see soon. And all thanks to Colby Covington Incorporated.
Now, Rashad Evans opening up his own gym in Florida. Are you going to bring him in?
Shit, I might have to, man. I heard he had a fallout with Usman. Usman treated him like shit. And it's sad because Rashad always had Usman's back. He put, fake newsman on his couch when fake newsman had nowhere to stay and no money. And, he brought him up and gave him a gym and gave him an opportunity and helped him out and worked with him. And then for Usman to turn his back and think he's bigger than Rashad and think he's, God's gift to earth, because that's what everybody says, the fake newsman thinks he's just better than people now. It's just sad. So, maybe I will hire Rashad. I've always had respect for him, and I respect his accomplishments. And, he's a good guy.
Also, Dean Thomas started his own gym. I know that Dean trains Woodley, but I don't think he'd be opposed to training you if as long as Woodley's not fighting anymore. That might be a good too. Dean Thomas.
Never heard of him.
He was a trainer at your gym. Come on. Dean Thomas. What an amazing fighter. Possibly a Hall of Famer. Yes, Dean Thomas.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
How many UFC fights did he win?
I don't know. I don't have that in front of me, but I'm sure Joe.
I think I remember that guy. His name was Didn't Do Nothing Thomas. That's not Din Thomas. It's Didn't Do Nothing Thomas.
Why do you and Dean have? I mean, because he was at AT&T.
Hey, I got more money on my wrist right now than he made his whole entire career. So who gives a fuck about that? Nobody.
Who cares about money? The guy's a great guy, and you're a great guy. Fuck money, dude. You guys are both great athletes, and I just think that you might. Who knows? He started his own fight gym. He won a couple guys. He has Greg Hardy working there.
Greg's Greg's my boy, man. I love that guy, man. One of the great heavyweights in the UFC today with raw knockout power. So
yeah,
that's my boy. But I got a great thing going, Adam. I promise. When I let everybody know what's going on at CCI, Colby Covington Incorporated, the coaches I got on my staff now, and the training partners I brought in, man, people are gonna be surprised, man. And I promise you will see a new version of me, 2.0.
Are you gonna bring in Mike Perry's coach? His girlfriend. She's undefeated with Mike Perry right now.
The only reason I'm bringing her in is for the bedroom cardio, get a little work.
Oh no! Oh
besides that, Mike Perry can get body bagged any day, man. He wants to get body bagged. Just say my name, buddy.
But would that be a good fight for you? I don't think that you're gonna raise. I mean, Mike Perry's a great fighter, but it seems like you're number 1. He's number 12.
I don't think he's ranked.
I don't know if he's even ranked, but I mean, he had a big win over Mickey Gall. Were you surprised by that?
Who?
Do you watch fights? It seems like whenever I ask you, one of these guys, and then when you make your picks, you happen to know all these guys when you make your like betting picks. So how does that work?
I honestly don't know any of them, and when I make my betting picks, I usually just go down the thing, and I'm like, okay, that seems like someone who might win, so
Right.
let's him.
Well, now that you and Joanna aren't teammates anymore, are you guys gonna go out? Because there was some sexual tension between you two.
Hey, Joanna's right here on my wrist, brother. Mwah. Joanna, thank you, Miss Joanna. I'm so happy you won me this nice watch for when you got your ass beat and got your face rearranged by Wiley Zhang. I called that for the people. That was America's pick of the week. Wiley Zhang to rearrange Joanna's face. I'm a man of my word. Promises made, promises kept.
Okay, This week you like Holloway or Volkanovski?
I don't even know who were they. Were they on my undercard last time?
You don't know any of these guys.
I just don't pay attention to fighting. I could give a fuck less unless I'm fighting. I don't really care. There's only one person on my mind right now, and that's Marty Fake Newsman, and getting in a fair fight with him, and that's all I care about. I don't care about any of the other jobbers or all the other fighters. I'm not into I'm here to make friends. Oh, let's be friends with all the UFC fighters. No, I'm not here to make friends, Adam. I'm here to make money.
Well, you're making money, man. I mean, it seems like you're doing really well for yourself. You got a house in Florida. You got a nice car. You got everything going for you. Are you set for life? Can you like retire for life at this point?
Yeah, for 100%, without a doubt, dude. I'm making more in sponsors than most of these fighters are making in fights per year. So, if I wanted to retire and walk away now, I could. But, dude, I have unfinished business, and I have such a deep, burning desire in my soul just to come back and show people who I really am and the character that has defined me my whole life. So, I'm just getting started, man. I barely just got warmed up, and people don't even know what's coming next.
Well, listen, I believe it. I mean, I believe that when you had your first fight in the UFC in China at like 2 a.m, I was like, this kid got something. And I followed you all the way since when you came to my show in Florida and came to the show in Vegas. We've been friends forever. I believe everything you say. Do you ever take a step back and think, man, I'm just look how far I've come. I'm just a kid from Oregon, and now I'm set for life. I can probably retire my parents all because of my fighting skills.
Adam, it's funny you took a trip down memory lane with me just now, and you were like my first interview ever, and I thank you to this day for that, and that's why I always make time for you. I don't got time for any of these other media nerds, these virgins that they're neck bearded virgins that breathe out of their mouth. We don't have time for those guys, because they don't have you have a martial art, you wrestle, you understand the game. These guys, they lived in their mom's basements. They're eating Cheetos, and they're trying to have opinions about what fighters should do and this and, this loss and, he should fight this guy. And they try to play internet matchmaker. It's just there's no real journalism anymore, Adam. These guys didn't even get journalism degrees, and they want to act like they're journalists. So that's why I appreciate you, and I always have time for you. And on that same token, I do sometimes look at those days where I'm just like, man, I came from nothing. I came from the trailer parks. I grew up in a very poor family, and my family was very blue collar, and they had to earn everything they got. They had to earn just for the opportunity to eat top ramen every day, and we didn't have nice stuff back in the day. So now that I can have nice stuff and I can help them out, buy them cars, and do good things for me, for my fighting, something that I love and I'm passionate about, and I want to do till the day I die, it's incredible, man. And it has been a great journey, but I don't want to look at the journey till it's over, and it ain't even close to over yet, Adam. So, I'm not going to look at that till, 5-6 years down the road after we've won a couple more titles and it cashed out.
Now, after you win at 170, are you going to go to 85?
I would love to go to 85 because I think it's, it's a big fight with the style bender, whatever his name is up there. Yeah. I think he has the type of cardio that I have, and I know he can't wrestle. So I think a guy that puts wrestling on him and implements their will beat him. So, you seen in the last fight with Romero that, he looked human. He doesn't look that good, and that's a over the hill UL Romero. So there's a lot of options out there, Adam. I might go 85. I might go to 55. you know, the options are plenty. You know, I'm not a big 7-year as it is, so we'll see, man. I just want the biggest fights, and I want to fight for the people. Whatever the fights the people want, I'm fighting for the people as the people's champion.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Colby. Have a great weekend. You're the best, dude. You're the absolute best. Take care, man.
Adam, much love, brother. Have
Much
a great
love to
night.
you. Take care.
Peace.
Peace out, bro.
That was Colby Covington. That dude.
True American.
Always entertaining.
Yes.
Always entertaining. What are your thoughts, Ween Dog, on the interview?
I like that he acknowledges that you were the first to give him his, like, the spotlight of being on a podcast or being in the media or whatever. I think that's really cool of him to do that with his new fame and glory. And I really wished that he would be the one fighting Kamaru Usman this weekend. But I think he will eventually get that shot again. I think Kamaru will win this weekend, and I think you're right about the New Year's card. So
Well, you know,
I look forward to that.
I'm actually happy he didn't take this fight on a 1-week notice, though.
That's true.
I'd rather have a full camp Colby against a full camp Usman than I just think that's a fair fight. I think to beat Usman, you're gonna have to see the best Colby, which I think he can. I think he can beat Usman. I mean, look, he was a minute away from doing it.
Yeah.
But I want to see that.
Me too.
Listen, thank you, Colby, for coming on the podcast. Thank you, Joe. You're the best. We'll see you guys next week, and take care.
Take it easy.